Duke of Education, Alfredo. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Education is typically free, and I'll talk a little bit about that, how it's not so free in the games I'm playing,
Oh,
if that makes sense. Doesn't
oh,
right now, but stay tuned. We'll learn as we go.
doesn't make sense at all.
Nope.
But you know what? Why don't we start with you? What are you playing this week? Maybe it'll make sense after we hear from you. What have you been playing this
Ooh,
week?
what am I playing? That's a loaded question. So I'm actually playing two different games, and they both recently came out. So I'm playing a game called Lost Ark, which is an MMO, as well as I'm playing a little something called Sifu, which is a PS5 exclusive on console, but also came to Epic Games on PC. So I'll start with Lost Ark because that is an MMO that has been so highly anticipated by every MMO lover. I have pretty much played not every MMO, but all the popular ones. So Final Fantasy 14, Lost Ark, this one, even back to the early days of Wizards 101 and Toontown. I've done them
Wow.
all. So I've been anticipating this because Lost Ark has actually been an MMO that has been a real MMO for 4 years now in Korea. It's a Korean MMO, and it's been out over there, and it has finally got its Western release over here. So it came out on Friday, so yesterday, and I hopped on. It's a free to play game, and this game is so special, or appeared to be so special at least, because it is in the style of Diablo, where it's kind of like a top down type of view. You got all of your different classes, whether it be mage, warrior, all of that, all the classic warrior or all the classic World of Warcraft kind of classes, or whatever MMO it may be, but very, very Diablo inspired as it seems. But the action itself is probably unprecedented in terms of an MMO, I would say. So just to get right into it, I've been playing all day today and pretty much all I have been able to yesterday. And this MMO changes the game like big time, and in terms of what MMOs have done
How
and
so?
can do in the future. So it's special because the first thing I want to do is the character creation. Character creation is great. You got all sorts of different customizable things for your character, whether it be classes, whether it be, just facial, how your character looks. But how it works is basically there are 15 different classes. There are technically like 6 or 7 big classes and then 3 subclasses. And the way the game works is that once it throws you into, okay, I want to be a gunner class. All right, which 3 gunners do you want to be? Do you want to be like a sniper subclass specifically? Do you want to be an artillerist, or do you want to be a bow and arrow type of guy? And the great thing about this is that you can try out every single class and what it would be on like max level, so level 50, before you actually commit to choosing it. So it allows you to do that and try out all those skills, which is really cool.
Now, did you
So
say there were classes within classes? There were subclasses.
yes.
Yes.
So there are subclasses, and you do pick your subclass from the start, which is an odd decision from the beginning of an MMO. You don't just go to you start at level 10, and level 10 is when you're supposed to pick your subclass. So you automatically just pick your subclass. And the subclasses are so different from each other that they're really just different classes altogether. I tried like 3, or I tried like half of them, and all of them were so incredibly distinct that it was pretty impressive, to be honest.
Nice.
So great on that. As
Well,
far as
what?
the actual gameplay,
Yeah.
good.
I was going to ask you about the gameplay. So you read my mind.
Yeah, so as far as the actual gameplay, this is where the Diablo-ness comes in, and they're throwing hordes of enemies at you at a time, and you are just tearing them apart. There's actually blood in this game, which is kind of awesome. Like, you are literally decapitating and slicing people in half and piercing them and all of that. It
All of your
looks
favorite
awesome.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Pro
Game looks beautiful.
decapitation. Yep.
Game looks beautiful, first of all, for an MMO especially. It's on the lines of Final Fantasy 14, which also looks beautiful. Game looks beautiful. It is incredibly fun. The gameplay, they constantly reward you for leveling up. So, and how that works is that you have all of your different skills, but when you as you level up, you might have like 4 skills, and you can equip a max of 8 skills at a time. So once you fill out all 8, let's say you get to level 20, you have all 8 skills. Well, the cool thing is that there's more to unlock all the way to level 50. You're continually gaining skills in your class. So you can swap out, you can only have 8 at a time. So you're picking which 8 of those skills that you've unlocked. It might be 20 in all for a single class. You're picking and swapping what's your perfect build and what you want it to be. And you can also, there's skill points whenever you level up. So you're leveling up the specific skills that you like to use and you want to use, and for them to be more powerful.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that sounds like a nice thing for MMOs. Like, it sounds like overwhelming at first, but it sounds like a good amount of freedom of choice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems a little bit overwhelming, but I would definitely say the way that they ease you into it, this MMO does a great job at easing you into every possible category of MMO-ness of what it strives to do. So the battle system, it eases you into it with all those skills. It tells you, okay, we have this layer, and then when you get 3-4 levels later, we're going to add another layer. So so you have even more customized
That's
things, because there
very
are actually more customized things for the skills. Like, you can customize it down to the granular setting of, okay, this specific skill does this at first, but after you invest this many skill points, you can choose out of 3 different additional effects what you want it to do more. And those it kind of does a layering in that effect, if that makes sense.
nice.
It just gives you so
Yeah.
many options.
Now, that sounds all great and all, but real quick, how's the player base?
Player base. Well, first I want to talk about, so the launch was not great for free to play.
Oh,
The launch was not great because what they did was they said, hey, you guys can pay for this for early access, for if you pay like a founder's pack, and you can get it open, you can get in the game 5 days early, something like that.
yeah.
People like me who didn't want to pay at all, we had to wait till Friday. So I waited, and then they basically, when it was free to play, they blew up the servers, and they fixed it within a matter of hours. But unlike many other games, like Amazon's other MMO, what was that called? Lost World? Something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. When that came out, the queue times were insane. Same thing for Final Fantasy 14. When Endwalker came out, queue times were insane. This one, I have not had a single instance where I had to wait in a loading. New World, that's what it was
New
called.
World. There we go.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
no queue times at all. I've just been able to pick a world that's not that populated. All of them are busy, but I have not had to wait in a queue to play the game.
Heck, I think that sells the game. No queue times.
It's free to play, so everyone should definitely play this. And I've been playing multiplayer, and the dungeons are awesome so far. They're actually pretty challenging. They have different difficulties, kind of like World of Warcraft, where if you pick hard mode, you get better gear. They can be pretty challenging. They're incredibly fun. They're not just you click, click, click one button until it's dead. No, you actually like have to move and use different skills.
It's
And
involved.
it's,
Nice.
yes, it's evolved. Very
Cool.
fun.
You said there's dismemberment in the game?
There is dismemberment. I'm a paladin,
Your ears perked
and
up.
I am chopping people in half all the time.
I can't find this game, but there was a game either on PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3, and it was a swordplay game, and it had dismemberment, and it was incredible. And I was just thinking, like, no games have had dismemberment since then, really. Like,
It's usually
maybe
a turnoff.
maybe as finishing moves or something, but like true dismemberment system. Like, why is that? I mean, I guess it's just extremely hard. I'm sure the Duke of Design could
Probably
comment. but-
diminishing returns, right? Like it's harder to implement, and a lot of people don't like it, right?
No, but
I don't
think it'd be-
actually know
in
if
a
you can turn
swordplay
it off.
game.
Alfredo loves it.
In a
Uh,
swordplay game, that'd be incredible.
One of the games that I remember that had dismemberment in it that I love is Jedi Knight 2 and
Oh,
Jedi
man.
Academy.
I can't believe that
That-
Star Wars
what?
game had
It
dismemberment.
did.
know
Yep.
that.
This is the LucasArts era. I mean, like
Wow.
a
They
person's
love it.
arm gets chopped off within the first 30 minutes of A New Hope. So
That's true.
dismemberment
That's
and
true.
Star Wars kind of go hand in hand. But
There's
yeah,
no
like,
blood either. 'cause
It's
like
not
Disney
kids'
just
friendly.
ripped it off.
yeah, exactly. It cauterizes it so
Mhm.
there's no blood. Yeah, Disney would never allow that now. And in fact, they expressly did not allow it in what was it? Jedi Fallen Order.
But didn't Snoke
it
get
just-
cut in twain?
Yes.
So
I did. In Twain. But yeah, as far as like dismemberment in games goes, like it is a difficult challenge, especially for animation. Because if you cut off, especially when you're cutting off the legs, like so we did dismemberment in Saints and Sinners, and we only allowed you to cut off the arms and head of the zombies. Because if you're able to cut off the legs of the zombies, that's a whole different animation state that needs to be accounted for. Whereas if the legs get cut off, or sorry, if the arms get cut off,
they just
the
wobble.
zombies would still act as if they had arms that they could grab you with.
They're just
They don't know the
They're
difference.
just zombies. They don't.
Yeah, exactly. And when the head gets cut off, it's game over. There's no zombie. The body crumples to the ground. Although we did have to stay true to the Walking Dead IP. So when you cut off the head, unless you destroy the brain, the mouth still moves and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
well,
but yeah, like dismemberment is a difficult problem. It is very satisfying when you can get it right. But it's, I mean, like, where do you allow the dismemberment to happen? Do you force it to be at like a socket? Do you allow it at any part in the limb? I mean, like, and every single extra level of granularity that you're adding there feels good, but adds complexity to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
anyway, it is a big problem.
that begs the question, Alfredo: is it satisfying?
It is very satisfying.
Awesome. All right, so it's a satisfying game where you can cut people up. Perfect.
Exactly.
Well, I want to ask you about Sifu, because this is Slow Clap's second game? How is it?
A little more than second, I believe. Maybe
They-
third.
Slow Clap hasn't made a lot.
Absolver was before this, but I'm not for
Mhm.
sure if they had a game
I
before
don't.
that.
I don't know if they had anything before that. I don't think they did.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about their second, maybe third game. Who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been very eagerly anticipating Sifu, which is the PS5 exclusive beat 'em up martial arts simulator. At least that's what it seemed to be from when it was first showed, I believe, a couple of years ago at E3 or a State of Play or something. So this is a 3D beat 'em up game. So I got the game when it first came out, and I heard from a couple of the reviews that it was a very brutal game, and a lot of people were comparing it to Dark Souls. I'm the only one who's been playing this game, right? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Out of the Dukes, anyway.
And
So-
and before you go, this is their second game according to the website.
Okay. So their second game. Yeah, so I've been very eagerly anticipating it because it's right on my wheelhouse. I love martial arts. I've done martial arts for a good long part of my life. I even went to a very traditional martial arts school where I had to do chores and the whole shebang. So,
Alfredo, side
yeah.
question: do you think you could beat each of the other Dukes up? If you could do
yeah, I
martial arts,
could.
you
I
could beat.
definitely
Probably
could.
so. He's like a black belt. What
I don't
are you?
know.
Give us a little bit of background.
Hey,
You like
let
a
me
black
review this
belt or
game.
what?
Let me review this game. We'll talk about
I
it later.
think Cole's scrappy. I think Cole could take you.
No chance. Anyway,
I'm not technical at all. I just
we'll talk about this later. So yeah, all that to say, I was very, very excited for this game, and even more when I heard of its comparisons to Dark Souls, because I do like harder challenges in Dark Souls-y games as well. So I picked up this game on release, and it kicked my ass so hard that it was the first time that I've ever had in my video game life that I was like, I don't know if I can finish this game. I don't know. I don't think this game is for me, to be honest, because the game was so incredibly hard that I did not foresee any possible way of finishing it. So the whole first
man.
day, I was getting my ass kicked, okay? Like bad. So I think this game does have 5 levels in total, and I could not get past the first level, like even the
Wow.
regular
wait.
goods.
There's only 5 levels.
Only 5 levels.
But they're apparently hard.
Are they long levels? I mean, like
they're good bits. So I put the game down and I said, I want to like this game. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow and I'm gonna try it again. And if I can't get it, then this will be one of those games that just not for me. So I picked it up the next day and I said, okay, I'm going to try this a different way. And I tried playing the game a different way than I initially did. So what the game does is it teaches you in the very beginning, it has a tutorial of sorts, and it teaches you, hey, okay, here's the dodge button. Here is the move down button for these types of moves. Here's how to jump if somebody tries to sweep your leg or whatever. Like, these are the basic gameplay elements. All right. So I said, okay, instead of using the dedicated dodge button, I'm going to do this instead and see how it works. And that simple change changed my entire outlook on the game. I was able to read the enemy's movements and actually say, okay, oh, I can actually get this. Like, this isn't that hard. And the problem I have with this game is that since then I've actually finished Sifu and I beat the whole game. There's more to go, which I will definitely be doing, but I was able to complete all 5 levels. And I realized in doing so was that this game has an incredibly high learning curve that I haven't really seen. And it's to the point where it's not that the game is hard, but it does a very bad job teaching you how to play the game. Because
So-
what it
Yeah,
go ahead.
what exactly was the change that you made that like
So-
unlocked the game for you?
Yeah, so in the tutorial they say, okay, here's the dedicated dodge button. What they never tell you ever was that there are other ways to dodge. The dodge button that they give you is where it takes extremely long to dodge. You make like this very big move where you can easily get hit. Like, people can follow you even when you dodge, quote unquote. But there's a way where you can basically the duck and jump buttons for if people try to come at you a certain way. They don't tell you this, but you can also use it to dodge out of the way. There's also a dedicated parry button, and in the tutorial that they kind of teach you, okay, this is, or lead you to believe that this is a parry type of game, like kind of like Sekiro, where you're parrying block after block after block. Like, that's how you're supposed to play this game. And the parry button is very, very, very strict timing that is incredibly hard to get. But the dodge that they don't tell you about is more forgiving in a way that you can actually, you don't have to have split-second accuracy, and you can have a little bit of leeway in order to read your opponent's movements. So after I figured out, okay, there's actually a better way to utilize these game systems that the developers don't tell, or the game doesn't teach you, I started having a lot of fun, like a lot of fun, to the point where it's probably one of my game of the year contenders when all is said
Wow.
and done. Because I've never played a beat 'em up like this that teaches you, or that you go from student truly to master, because the game does expect you to learn every enemy pattern, every movement that you need to do, every single situation that you need to master in order to be ready to all of these varying opponents. So I'm used to all of these 2D side scroller beat 'em ups, and this is the next evolution of what that is. And I really do feel like if they could just put out a patch to teach people better, change the tutorial where you teach people the best way to play this game, or at least make it more clear that people have more options, then it won't drive away people. But as it is, you really have to say, okay, I'm going to master this and figure things out yourself in order to really enjoy it. So you kind of have to butt heads with the game. But if you do that, and if you get past that, this game is very, very good. I love this game.
Now-
I'm playing it over and over. I love it.
Now, Alfredo, I have 3 questions for you.
Go for it.
One, taking off my host outfit right now to slip it off. You have said many times before on this show,
Mhm.
all the things you just stated about this game, you claimed were negatives in Metroid Dread.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Do the enemies telegraph their moves well?
That's a really hard question. So, I would say at first, no, they don't. But after I forced myself to play it more and more, I started really paying attention, just facing off against those enemies over and over. Because what this game does is it's kind of like a time loop game in a really odd manner. So what this is that you are a 20-year-old martial artist, every single time that you die, your age goes up and you are revived. So if I'm 20, I die. Okay, I come back as 21 for my next life. But every time you die, your death counter gets higher and higher. So that was my first time dying. So now I go from 1 death to 2 deaths. So if I die again, then my death counter will go up 2. So instead of 22, I'll be 23. So it's kind of exponentially
But
growing.
how does that
on
change the
that
game?
age.
Like, do you get
It
slower
changes the
or have
game
more
because
power?
the older you get, the more times you die, you're going to start rapidly aging if you just keep dying over and over. Like, you're going to get to a point where your death counter is at 8. And the next time you die, you go up by 8 years of your life. And the older you get,
Huh.
you are you do get stronger because you learn as a kung fu master that how to damage people, so your damage actually goes up. But you're at the same time, the older you get, your actual maximum health bar gets lower. So it's a give and take there. But there is a cap on how old you can get. So once you reach your 70s, that's your last life period. And if that's the case,
How bad are
then
you in the
you
70s?
die.
Like, are you really slow?
No, you're the same speed. The only thing that literally changes is your damage and your maximum HP. So you'll have the least amount of HP you can get, but you also do mega damage. And the interesting concept of this game is, okay, so stage 1, there's 5 stages, like I said before. The first stage, okay, I beat the boss when I'm 47, let's say. If I'm that lucky, I beat him when I'm 47. At the start of stage 2, I will start that stage forever as if I'm 47. So you don't start when you're 20 anymore, you start with the 47. And you have to get through all 5 stages before you end up with your last life. So if I ended the first stage at age 72, I only have 1 life to go for the entire 5 stages.
That's a really cool level up mechanic.
Yeah,
That
so
is
what you
very
have to
cool.
do is it continuously challenges you to be like, oh man, I beat this stage at age 50. I need to replay it and get better. So I beat the game, or I beat the stage at a way lower age so that I can have more age to go in order to get to the final level, because I won't make it.
Right.
So it challenges you to go back and replay and remaster those concepts so you can not die as much and therefore get to the last level without dying.
That genuinely sounds like quite a fun experience. That does sound very fun.
It is. At first I was regretting it because it sounded like it might not be so fun, but it actually was, because it really forced me to master the actual mechanics and really see, okay, the enemy patterns and what I need to do to beat every specific enemy and their unique.
You really feel
attacks.
like a martial artist.
Yeah, to
by the
become
end
a
of it, like
Sifu
master.
yourself.
That's awesome. Now, did it help you to already be a master of martial arts?
Me personally, I wouldn't say I'm not a master, first of all, but I would say that this game does definitely take the approach of actually having done martial arts or being in that sort of mindset, because it does require a lot of patience on the player's part to play this game and not get frustrated in saying, okay, that was a cheap shot. That was, it's a Dark Souls, like some things are just totally unfair. No, I would say after playing this game, nothing is really unfair. It just requires you to really study each enemy and master the mechanics.
Nice. I'm still upset about you because that sounds like Metroid Dread, but I will move on. Thank you for your review of Sifu. I really want to try it now, so
I will be streaming it. I'm gonna be getting the platinum, so I'll be streaming it on Monday.
Good plug. Everyone tune in and watch.
Doesn't the platinum involve you? You have to go through the whole game by age 25.
It sure does. I can do it.
Oof. All right. Yes, you can.
I can do it
on stream on the Dukes of Gaming live stream.
Yep.
Tune in Monday, and Alfredo will beat the game in one sitting.
Sure.
Restrictions may apply. Let's move on real quick. Speaking of streaming, real quick, I want to give a big round of applause. The most viewed video on the Dukes of Gaming YouTube channel was a live stream by Ben just a few hours ago. A Doom stream. I know you don't want to talk about Doom. But how was your streaming experience?
It was fun. It was really fun. It was the
Good.
first time I've ever live streamed a game before. So it was a fun time. I have no idea why it's the most viewed video on our channel right now. I guess
People love Doom.
People love Doom, exactly. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing it again. So sometime this week. I'm not sure. Not sure when I'll be back on, but yeah, it was great. And yeah, I didn't want to talk about Doom too much, except to say that Eternal is like more of the same with 2016. So if you like 2016, Eternal is definitely for you. I have some gripes with it. I think like there's more complexity in the game than there need be, but I also don't just want Doom 2016 over again. So I'm kind of like conflicted right now as to whether there's too much change in this game or there needed to be some. So this is like the necessary.
Yeah, wasn't that kind of the beauty of Doom 2016? It was like simple and just action packed, straightforward.
Yeah.
I think there was an elegant simplicity to 2016 that this game loses a little bit with its extra complexity. However, it is still well worth playing.
How's the music?
Good question.
Excellent.
The game is so. I was watching Ben play. It's so hardcore. It's like I told him. I said it screams PC gaming. It's just Mountain Dew PC gaming. Like
it's twitchy as hell. Yeah, it's twitchy.
It's almost like hard to watch because it's so fast. Like,
really?
I don't even know if I'd like it. I never played Doom 2016, and I don't know if I'd like that being so fast paced. But I guess it's different when you're playing. I don't know.
Well, how's the grapple hook?
It's not that present. It's only available on one gun. So if you're not using the super shotgun, then you don't have access to the meat hook. But there is a lot of other kind of traversal elements that are in the game, more like the dashes and ability to grapple onto walls and
Nice.
mantle, that kind of thing. So you're like constantly moving around all over the play spaces and yeah, so the mobility feels really good, even though there could be more grappling hook because the grappling hook is very fun.
Yes, I remember that from 2016. I loved the grapple hook in 2016. So, well, cool.
I don't recall there being a grappling hook. I'm calling bullshit on that one.
Really, I
don't
remember.
one either.
I remember playing with the grapple hook in 2016.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't recall.
We need a fact check.
Maybe you were playing
Mandela.
Eternal.
Fact check that. Maybe I played Eternal and I don't remember.
Right.
While we're fact checking that, another streamer on our channel now is Cole. Cole, you've been playing Sea of Thieves. Anything else, or do you just want to talk about Sea of Thieves?
Destiny 2, but we talked about that last time.
Yeah,
I'm just in the middle of the Forsaken content, and I'm gonna try to finish the Sea of bounce back and forth between those two until Horizon comes out this week. So, anyway,
Can't wait.
So I've been doing the Pirate's Life content, and once I finish that, I'm gonna quit Sea of Thieves for the foreseeable future.
Why?
Forever.
You don't
Well,
like
just
it up.
because I love the game, but it's better with friends. If any of y'all want to play it, I'd love to play it, but like it's just not that good. It's not that fun by yourself.
We have abandoned Cole.
Yeah, y'all have.
sorry.
God, I said on the stream probably 8 times. Man, I probably sounded so sad because I was like, man, this game is just it's so much more fun with friends. And I was hitting up everybody on the Discord. Nobody was taking my bait. But even to that fact too, a rando joined my game, and I was trying to communicate with him, and he didn't have a keyboard. Actually, no, he was playing. Not a keyboard, a headset. He was playing on xCloud, so he turned on his. He was playing on his mobile phone. He turned on his mobile phone for like a half second, and it was like real echoey because you could hear the volume of the game. He was like, "I'm playing on xCloud, something, whatever." So I left him and went and played by myself.
Wow,
he
you
couldn't
did
hardly.
him.
Yeah, he couldn't even hardly move. He was like moving sideways, couldn't get on the ship and stuff. But so the content was pretty awesome. Like the first, I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Like specifically the first movie. The other one's not really that much, but I watched them all. But the first movie is one of my favorite movies, like ever. I love it. So the content is pretty incredible. There's a part in there where there's like all these Easter eggs. So I guess it's like a tie-in. Ben, you were asking if it was licensed. Did you not know this? That they partnered with Disney for this?
No, I didn't realize that there was a Pirates of the Caribbean DLC.
So they partnered with Pirates of the Caribbean, so it's all the licensed characters and everything. It's none of the real voice actors.
I was
They're
about
all
to
like,
ask that. Okay.
yeah, they're it's not definitely. Now the Tia Dalma, which is the voodoo lady, she sounds identical. I think she may be the real actor, but Jack Sparrow is definitely not, and I don't think any of the other ones are. But anyway, you go and you sail through like this portal, and then you go through like the Forsaken Seas where like there's all these ghosts and stuff, and you come into this epic like island where all these like ghosts are, and it's basically bringing you through these caves and everything. A ghost is like leading you through there, and there's all these inside like Easter eggs like about the Disney ride. Like there's several scenes that look like the actual Disneyland ride. And you get to a part of it, and there's these ghost pirates in a tavern, and they're singing the exact Disneyland song, like the sound, like they
Oh,
recorded
cool.
it and put it in there. I thought that was pretty awesome. But it felt pretty epic. And you meet up with Jack Sparrow at the end of the first episode, and then your next one is to go and find the Black Pearl at the bottom of the sea, the pirate ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like really story based, not much combat at all, and it's all like puzzle. It's like little puzzles and stuff. So it's kind of fresh. It's kind of different than what you usually get there.
I will say that's probably better that it doesn't exactly rely on the combat, because when we were playing it, it didn't seem like that was the main focus of the game, like its strong suit. And I was actually playing a little bit of Dying Light 2 with my buddy some more today, actually. And I was comparing it to Sea of Thieves directly, because they seem like very, very similar games in what they're trying to go for combat-wise. But Dying Light does it so much better because they also have melee combat with the swords, with whatever melee weapons, but their parrying system is awesome. They have a whole skill tree for like what you can do with your melee weapons and just melee combat. And it doesn't seem like Sea of Thieves has that. So I wish
it doesn't.
they did.
So I know, I do too. And I think that's a problem with the game. So they give you all the basic stuff. You have the blunderbuss, the pistol, and you have your main sword, and then you have like a single shot pistol is like more accurate, and you can't upgrade anything. And they did that because they want to level the playing field for everybody. So you can't upgrade, like Call of Duty style, like get attachments and all the stuff, like,
and then steal everyone's treasure.
Yeah. So the only way you can upgrade is cosmetic, which to me that sucks because the game's combat is really poor. Like it's awful. It's really awful. It's not fun at all. But the game is so good, And I will say the downside of the story content is that there is no emergent gameplay, and that's where Sea of Thieves shines to me, is with the other players and being on the ocean and dealing with storms and things like that. But like this is so scripted. Like I did a battle, where when you have a battle with another player's ship, it's incredible because everything is dynamic.
Yeah.
But like this is so scripted that it's like the ship comes up and you hit it 3 times and you can see the animation takes over and takes it down, and then like, so that's the weakness of it. But
That's a
I guess
shame.
I don't know.
Well, you did mention to me that I should play it. I would like it. I know I would. I used to be such a huge fan of Rare. Who wasn't a huge fan of Rare in their heyday? And then they fell off making super snowboarders for Xbox Connect. And like,
well, this game is special.
Really,
like, I think y'all should definitely play it. Ben, do you have it? You have Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, I have Game Pass right now, but I have not downloaded Sea of Thieves. I have very limited hard drive space on my PC, so I have to be choosy.
Look, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it to try it and play it at least for a night to get the feel of it. Like Alfredo got it. You could see the special, like what was special about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, the combat not where it's special, but the idea of just roaming the islands and open seas, going to find the treasure, following treasure maps, and like saying, okay, 9 steps west, go here, going on the sail on the sea with your ship. That's like where the specialness comes from this game.
And the stakes are high. You physically put the treasure chest on your ship. You have to get it back to the port. If someone else takes your ship down, they steal all your treasure. So it's like the ultimate pirate game.
No, it sounds like a blast, and I really do need to play. I just like Ben, my computer is not up to chuff to play that right now. If I had an Xbox, I would play it right away, but I don't. So Alas, I will definitely try to play it with you at some time, Cole.
Yep.
100%. I did double check it. It is Doom Eternal I had played. I bought it in the
There you
summer of
go.
2020. I thought I bought a used version of the 2016 version, and it also feels like I played it 10 years ago. But no, it
Makes
was
sense.
2020. Anyway, I digress. I suppose I can talk a little bit about Pokemon while we try to get Thomas back. Can one of you beautiful boys message Thomas, see if he's
Yeah, he is
working
on the
on it?
way.
Excellent. So let me just give a little talk about Pokemon Legend Arceus, and I do want to real quick mention that I am planning on doing a more in-depth review of Pokemon, but I wanted to wait till I 100% of the game. And I'm very close because every single review I've seen on the internet of Pokemon Legend Arceus is titled "My Initial Thoughts," "My First Thoughts," because everyone who reviews video games is a hack.
Including us.
Including us, especially us, mostly us. But no, I wanted to complete the game 100% because that's really how to play Pokemon. It's a collectathon. You want to collect them all. So you can't really review the game until you've done everything you can.
Do you always catch them all?
No,
Okay.
not recently.
Okay.
Not recently. The last game I caught them all in was Pokemon Emerald for
Okay,
the
so it's
Game
been a
Boy. Yeah, no, you've played Pokemon games. You
Mhm,
can't be bothered to catch them all in
No, too much
any
work.
of them. No.
Too expensive. Those
Um,
Pokemon balls are not
Yeah.
cheap.
They're not cheap in this game, but in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but you do really feel like you're earning your way through this world because it's taking place in the past of Pokemon, so everything's a little bit more expensive, except for gold. Gold's way more valuable than it is in other games. So you can earn money fast by grinding and collecting rare items, and you can also build Pokeballs in this game, which is a very cool way of getting the necessary tools to catch them all. I will say now that I've finished the main storyline of the game, and it ends on a dud. It's a bit of a dud. It's a bit of a letdown. I don't know if I'm just too good at Pokemon, but it seemed really easy to beat the last two bosses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then the post game comes in and says, "You're not really done with the story. You got a little bit more to do. The credits rolled, but you got a little bit more to do to get to Arceus. You got to get to God. You got to get to
Okay.
God." And the real final boss battle, or second to last boss battle, is tough for a Pokemon game. Normally Pokemon games hold your hand, and they
Mhm.
may have done this on purpose because they hold your hand, and every time you finish a battle, they heal up your team. Like, oh, you're all healthy. Not this time. This time you fight an opponent with 8 Pokemon on his team instead of 6.
Not
And
6.
You only have 6, but he's got 8.
Okay.
And you battle him with your team of 6, and he's got a tough team. Then he calls on one extra Pokemon to come help him. That's a legendary Pokemon.
What?
And that legendary Pokemon comes in, and you just battled a really tough trainer. You don't get healed up. And then you beat that legendary Pokemon. And the legendary Pokemon says, "No, you didn't. You got to beat me again."
Wow, they
And
are
it
really
doesn't heal you up.
really
and I'm
going for it.
Dang, they really made this final boss battle feel pretty cool. Weak point of it, I have to say, is the music. The boss battle music sounds really stupid and goofy for a final boss.
That's
I mean,
usually a strong point in Pokemon.
yeah, exactly. Their music's usually on point.
Mhm.
The music for the other boss battles in the game is on point, but this last one just feels like it was just they didn't really have good communication between the music team and the story team.
I have a question.
And, yeah.
For when the credits rolled, and you obviously were not satisfied with how it ended, but are satisfied that it's keep going.
Yeah.
Was it how did you feel about it ending there? Like, what in rolling credits and then them saying, "Hey, you need to continue the story." Like, do you feel that's justified? Like, why do you think that they rolled credits and then said, "Let's continue the story"? Why didn't they just have them continue it if it's not satisfying? Is my question, I guess.
Because it's good. It's a good story for a Pokemon game. Pokemon games don't have great stories, but this one is basically how I would summarize it is, I don't know if I mentioned this to a guy in a bar or to you guys, but the story in this game is basically your religion doesn't matter if Satan exists, which is kind of weird. Your main difficulty through the game is there are these two warring, or not warring, but unhappy with each other clans that both think that their god is the real god. Their god is Arceus, but they don't know that their god actually isn't Arceus. It's Dialga or Palkia, both pretending to be Arceus to get more worshippers.
Wow, that is deep for a Pokemon game.
Spoilers.
Didn't see
Spoilers.
that coming.
Let me ask you
And-
this. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, no.
How
I
is
was just listening.
So it's rated M? Like,
No.
this can't be rated E for
No,
everyone.
it's a very kiddie version of religions
that.
fighting against each other. Specifically,
Wow.
religions that believe the exact same thing, but have infighting. It makes sense for a Pokemon game. The last time the writer of this game worked on a Pokemon game, which was Black and White 2, he wrote about the efficacies of capturing Pokemon and making them fight. That was the story of Black and White 2. Was the evil team in that game said it's unethical to make Pokemon fight. They were the bad guys.
And then you beat them up.
And then you beat them up and you send
We
one
do
of them
what
to the
we want.
Shadow Realm. Yeah. But yeah, then it makes sense that this time he was like, yeah, let's do a story about religion. So I think the story ends, the two clans find out that their gods are actually not the same, not the real god. They're faux gods masquerading as the real god. And they both go,
Interesting.
maybe we shouldn't hate each other too much. And credits roll,
Friendship.
Turns out there was another guy sitting on the sidelines, masterminding the whole thing, making them fight each other specifically to get Satan to show up. The
Wow.
Pokemon equivalent of Satan.
Wow.
So
Which is Arceus? I'm
no, which is
confused.
Giratina. Giratina is
Okay.
yeah, the real god is Arceus. That's the final boss, and I haven't gotten there yet. You have to do
Ah.
a lot to get to Arceus. You gotta I don't know if you have to 100% the Pokedex, but I think you do. Nothing triggered when I showed up. But here's Thomas. I think that's enough of my thoughts on Pokemon. I will hopefully have a more in-depth review of the goods, the bads, and the uglies of Pokemon Legends Arceus at some point in the coming 2 weeks. But Thomas, do you hear us? Not yet.
Check 1, 2, 1.
He's coming through. He's coming through.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us?
Yeah. So informally, I am the Duke of Disconnect today.
Apparently. Sorry, Thomas.
My
Well,
whole
what if-
my whole computer died. So I had to just
Well.
relocate to a different computer.
That's unlucky.
Unfortunately,
Hopefully
but
you get
I'm
it fixed.
hopefully, but as far as what I've been playing, is it my turn? Just want to make sure.
Yes, it is your turn. Take it
Okay,
away.
Don't want to step on anybody's shoes. So I have been playing 2 games this week. I'll talk about the good one first because it'll be a little quicker. I've been playing Destiny 2 Beyond Light. So I want to thank Ben for getting us into this series of I played the first Destiny a long time ago. Played through the first, before you have to start grinding, and it didn't connect with me. And so I'm not going to come back to this franchise. I have spent probably 15 hours playing this game since we first started, getting back into it. I'm in love with the entire just the grinding format of everything, going through your bounties, going to different planets, going to find different lost sectors, leveling up your guns, upgrading your guns, upgrading some of the rare guns you get, getting those, and then just upgrading the exotics you have, going to the different planets, seeing all these different landscapes and the attention to detail that each place has. I just had a really good time with this game. I think it's funny how Alfredo was talking about Lost Ark. I believe that Destiny has a lot more in common with some MMOs than meets the eye. And I really do see it now. I see what they're going for with this game. I
You know,
love
it's
it.
funny when I typed in the Lost Ark to Google, it said, "Do you mean Destiny?" Like,
Oh, man.
it's-
Aw.
are you talking
Crazy.
about
Aw. Oh, Google.
So, Google.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, it's been a quality experience. And before this update, I haven't really been paying attention to the story. But this past story with the Exo Stranger, like I found myself very much engaged the entire time. Just off the strength of that character alone, the villains were still kind of hit and miss for me as they've always been with Destiny. But I really like the characterization of the heroes that we meet. Like I really think they do a really good job in that department. They really give them a lot of personality. Even though your guy doesn't have a lot of personality, the side characters around have a lot. And I think it's to a great benefit. I just, what more can I say? I'm having a great time. I cannot wait for the Witch Queen expansion. I will be no lifing that
me
as
too.
that comes out. So yeah, hopefully we all
Nice.
are. So
I
yeah,
think we
can't
all
wait
are.
for that.
I'd like to play some Destiny myself too. So,
Hey.
speaking of streamers, because we've all been streaming this week. Well, most of us. The handsome
Don't
ones.
look at me. Yeah, only the handsome ones.
We got you
Handsome
next
ones
week.
have been
Next week.
streaming. You were streaming Crossfire X. Your first impressions. What were your first impressions?
Not good ones.
Oh,
So I was interested in this game when it first was announced. It's actually been out theoretically since I believe 2007 under just the regular Crossfire branding. This is its first release in the US. It is a big game, I believe, in Korea. It's a big multiplayer shooter. It's kind of in line between a Call of Duty and a Counter-Strike. It kind of lies in the middle of that. The multiplayer has been out for a while. What really gave it a lot of credence for me was the fact that Remedy was developing the single player. Remedy, if for those of you who don't know, Remedy is the ones who have made Alan Wake, Quantum Break, Control, games that are known primarily for their narratives. So I was
and
like,
being good. Yeah.
and being good, and being good. But even I was even willing to accept, okay, the gunplay might not be great, but if we get a decent Remedy level story, this might be worth playing. Now, that did not happen at all. I start this game and the word that comes to mind is generic, unfortunately. This feels like a game that Remedy developed because they developed this game as far as the single player, it seems like from the ground up, because they're using the engine for the single player is a different engine than what's in the multiplayer. So it feels a lot different than the multiplayer. So it's almost like they develop. I don't know how deep their development was in this. I don't know if it was just story writing. I don't know if it was also developing the single player in totality. I don't know how much they were working with Smilegate, the actual studio behind the game. But this seems like a very paint by numbers experience. It seems like a game that was made to fund their future projects. I did not feel the Remedy love here. Unfortunately, it's not a bad story by any means, but it definitely left me thinking I could be playing any Call of Duty campaign and be having a much better time. And I feel like that's a very low bar in terms of video game storytelling. So yeah, it's not a bad game by any means. Like I even said it on my stream, like I'm enjoying myself theoretically. Like I played on the regular difficulty. It seemed like the only time I died was when I was just doing stupid stuff. The gameplay, the AI wasn't really challenging me that way. This is another game that's going to be released that, once the big heavy hitters that come out, we're going to completely forget about this game. No one's going to remember Crossfire X from this year. And I believe that's by design because they released it in the most crowded month in recent video game history. So I don't think that was an accident either. So I can't say I am a big fan of this game, but it could have been worse.
Now, you said this is very popular in Korea. Do you mean North Korea?
No. At least I don't think so. You can't quote me on that.
It's funny because I hear that a lot. A lot of people will use that as like a marker of quality. Like, oh, it's really popular in Korea. It's really popular in South Korea. It's really Seoul loves this game. Like what? Why is North Korea just sorry not North Korea? I don't think they know what video games are. Does South Korea just like love every video game?
I mean, they're pretty good at them. Lost Ark, Korean
That's
game.
true. That's true.
They do.
That's
have
why
a
I
big,
brought it up because Alfredo said Lost Ark was also a Korean game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a very big PC and mobile game market in Korea.
I mean, that's awesome. Good for them. All of Korea, probably, right? All free. Well, this has been our what have we been playing this week? Now, let us know what you've been playing this week in the comments or in chat, whatever you want to do.